Your mindset is exactly where you are currently right now in your life. The things that you have, your job, your relationship, your finances, it all boils down to your mindset. Now today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how important that is to change and be a little bit more open-minded. I will say this though, this one might be a little punch to the gut, but sometimes as men, we need that because we need people in our corner to help hold us accountable. If you guys are tuning in for the very first time, welcome, right? This is Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. How to start taking responsibilities for your own actions instead of just being a victim. And trust me, right? Like, it's very childish having that victim mentality. And so what is that victim mentality? Well, that's constantly pointing the finger at things as to why your life is the way it is. So put this in perspective of health and fitness, you might say, oh man, I'm on blood pressure medications and I'm overweight because of genetics. And it's hereditary, and it's because of my parents, and yada, 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 right? Or you might make an excuse and say, oh, it's too, it's just like, I got to be rich to eat healthy, right? Eating healthy costs a lot of money, and I can't do that. I don't make enough money, so I'm going to settle with just eating crappy fast food and being, a garbage disposal. Or you might just say like, you know what? I can't do this because I don't have time. I hear that all the time. I work way too much, Joe. 45, 55 hours, 60 hours a week. Oh my gosh. I don't have any time to play with my kids. I don't have any time to be active. I don't have any time to, eat healthy or do this because I'm so busy. It's ridiculous. Another thing I also hear often is just like guys say like, oh, well, I know what to do in order to get in shape. I just can't do it. It's like, okay, so how do you get in shape? Oh, well, I know I got to meal prep. I know I got to eat 6 small meals a day. Maybe do intermittent fasting, cutting out carbs, tons and tons of cardio, right? Should be in the gym. It's like you don't know what to do. You think you know what to do because you have a fixed mindset. And because you constantly point the finger at other things, you have that victim mentality. And this is exactly the problem in today's society. It is. There's a lot of children out there. Just because you're over the age of 30 and maybe you got some kids, maybe you work a 9 to 5, doesn't mean you're an adult. Just because you can make enough money to pay for your mortgage doesn't mean you're an adult. Why is it that over 50% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account? Why is that? I'm not trying to brag or boast here, but I think I had more than that when I was 13, 14 years old. Why? Grind, work ethic, it's just like you gotta have a different mindset. You have to. And what people don't understand, right, is that when they have this victim mentality of constantly pointing the finger, anytime you point the finger at somebody or something as to why your life is the way it is, instead of taking responsibilities for your own actions, you got to remember, you got 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Every time you point the finger, you have 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Here's the truth. And it's not fun saying this, and it's probably not fun hearing this, but here's the reality. This can all change in a blink of an eye. Your life, your relationship, your career status, your health, your finances could literally take a complete 180 turn and be completely different. But the reason it's not is because of that fixed mindset, because of that victim mentality that you have instead of taking responsibilities for your own actions. So what do I mean by that? Well, think about it like this. If someone was going to tell me, hey, Joe, let's say it like this, right? Let's say I want to lose weight, okay? And I could constantly tell inside my head, right? Constantly tell myself, hey, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. Maybe I'm busy with, work. Maybe I'm busy with, playing with my, my family. Maybe I'm busy with this, right? So I'm constantly making up these excuses. You're brainwashing yourself to just be the receiver of those excuses for the rest of your life. Let me repeat that. That's a golden nugget I want you guys to pick up. Every time you tell yourself why you can't do something, you're brainwashing yourself to believing that. And so it's like anything in life. The more you do it, right? Napoleon Hill talks about this and, outwitting the devil all the time in that book. And it's fantastic, amazing book. But he talks about repetition is the mother of all learning. Honestly. So what are you constantly telling yourself? And most importantly, how long have you been telling yourself this? I mean, this is not fun to tell you guys this. I wish I could be talking about other things. But the reality is this, you need a mindset shift. Because how long have you been telling yourself for the past year, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, you are exactly the way that you are because of XYZ? How long are you going to constantly tell yourself, well, I'm going to get started after the holidays, or I'm going to get started next Monday, or I'm going to get started when this happens, and when this happens, when this happens. And then what happens? That day comes and you find a way to make another excuse. You are never going to get the life that you want by being a master of making excuses. And what's sick is the fact that you have brainwashed yourself into truly believing those lies because you tell them to yourself every single day. This is why in our mindset coaching phases, we focus so much on affirmations. We literally focus so much on positive thoughts, positive thinking, right? It doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be all woo-woo. And the reason why we make it so simple for guys is because we know that the only reason why they can't achieve the success that they truly want in life is because they're a slave to the past. They're a slave to that ball and chain of all the lies that they constantly tell themselves, and so much so that they just affirmed it so much into existence, where it's a reality and they firmly believe it. You gotta be open-minded. You can't have this fixed mindset. That's exactly why you're struggling right now with your life, is because of that mindset. So how do you flip the switch? How do you jump the gun and instead of being this victim mentality, start taking responsibilities for your own actions? Because the minute you can start taking responsibilities for your own actions and start being more open-minded, guess what? You're going to be more open and receptive to change. You're going to be open to different ideas, different thoughts. You're also going to be open to a completely different life. And once again, you might think this might sound complete BS, but what do you got to lose to try it? It's not like I'm telling you guys hey, you got to pay me for this information. No, I'm telling you guys this because I care about you. I'm telling you guys this because I want to make the world a positive place for my son to grow in. I'm telling you guys this because I want to change people's lives. And I know you just need that little bit of hope, a little bit of inspiration to make that change occur in your life. And right now, it may seem hard. It might seem like your back is against the wall. It might seem like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But it's okay. Because what do you know that is successful in life didn't have to go through some trial and tribulations, didn't have to go through some adversity, didn't have to go through growth? You want to get bigger, stronger arms? Guess what? You go down the gym, you work out, you're breaking down the muscle fibers. But it grows back stronger. It's that adversity. It's that grit. It's that hard work, that dedication, and never giving up. So here's my 2 cents. Take it for what it is, but I promise you this. If you start doing this, you're not going to have that victim mindset. You're not going to have that fixed mindset anymore. You're going to be more open, more receptive to change, and truly transform your life into what you truly want to become and have a different life of. Start taking responsibilities for your own actions. That's it. Very short, very simple, not the easiest thing to do in the world, right? Just like this. You probably know to eat healthy. You probably know to work out. Shoot, if you've been listening to my podcast, you probably know everything about how to burn your body fat, right? But why is it that you're not following through with those steps? Laziness? Time constraint? Right? Making up excuses. once you start taking responsibilities for your own actions, you start looking at life differently. You can start saying, wow, I actually do need to prioritize my health. I do need to prioritize my life because I want to be here in the long run for my family. That serves me better. I want to go to, the graveyard with tons and tons of memories, right? And experiences of the great times. Not feeling depressed, not hating the way I looked, not constantly just being a slave to my job and working for some money. Like, I want to create better experiences. I want to create better memories. I want to create also healthier habits for my family. So that way when my kids are older and they're in my, age, the age that I'm at right now, they're not struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. You can't think that way if you have a victim mentality. You can't think that way if you have, just this fixed mindset. You got to take responsibilities for your own actions. You have to be more open-minded. I love my team to death at Heartletics. And the reason why is because I can say something without someone getting butthurt. And you put yourself in this situation. How are you? How do you respond? How do you react when somebody tells you something that you don't want to hear? Do you instantly just put up this defense shield and block it off and just start, being all super defensive and arguing right back? Or do you just listen and take it how it is? If I'm training some of our sales guys, right? I'm going to be, qualifying them. I'm going to be teaching them. I'm going to be kind of reviewing their information as far as some of these calls go and just kind of seeing hey, what works, what doesn't work. And I'm a coach. And my personality is I say it how it is. Always. I don't sugarcoat anything. And I tell even our clients this, I will always tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not a yes man. You don't get anywhere in life having cheerleaders. You get through the adversity, you get through the trial and tribulations, you get through the growth when you have coaches that push you and hold you accountable, but also tell it how it is. So with some of the guys on my team, I can literally tell it straight how it is. And they put the emotions aside and they say, you're right. I should have done this. You're right. I got to do this better. You're right. It's like this. And guess what? I'm the same way. I'm never going to be that. And this is why I still to this day invest into mentors and coaches. Why? Because I need people in my corner that's going to hold me accountable. I need people in my corner that says okay, yeah, you're doing good, but why aren't you doing better? Hey, why don't you focus on this instead of doing this? If I just have this, closed mindset, fixed mindset, right? Victim mentality and just saying hey, I'm good. I got this all. Ego's just, so high right now. I don't need any help. I'm never going to grow. And I see this all the time with guys when it comes to trying different things for their body type and goals. They don't understand metabolism. They don't understand calories. They don't understand macronutrients and micronutrients. They don't understand how to train properly. So what do? They try to be their own body mechanics. And they're okay, well, hey, I look up this online on Google. I look up this online on YouTube, right? Look up all this free information that's out there. And trust me, there's millions of different things. And they try to just implement. Okay, well, this is what's wrong with me. I'm going to do this. This is what's wrong with me. I'm going to do this. And it's almost just like putting a Band-Aid to the gunshot wound, where it might slow down the bleeding, but it doesn't actually fix the issue. It doesn't, there's no solution to the problem. That's if I'm trying to fix my car, right? And let's just say I don't know, it's just not starting up properly, and I'm fixing around with the starter, trying to play around with it, whatever the case may be. Or, I then instantly it's just well, that doesn't work. And then I'm jumping the gun, right? So now I'm going to start fixing stuff with maybe the transmission, right? So maybe take it as this is where it's maybe you with your health and fitness goals, you're okay, well, I'm going to cut out my carbs. And maybe that works for a little bit. Car starts running, right? But then eventually you hit that break. Eventually you hit that plateau. And you're okay, well, hey, maybe I got to do something else next. Maybe it's intermittent fasting. So now you're cutting out carbs and doing intermittent fasting, right? And then the list goes on and on and on, right? Trying to fix your own vehicle. But maybe the solution is so easy as just hey, you need a new battery. You need some new juice. Like, that's it. But you don't know that because you don't know. You have this ego, right? This fixed mindset. Hey, I can do it all. I don't need help. I know I should eat healthy. I know I should train, but there's so much more that goes into that. It's not as easy as just calories in versus calories out. It's not as just easy as just, hey, move a little bit more, eat a little bit less. I wish that would be the case. But why is it that literally over 45% of the U.S. population is considered obese? If that information is so free and easy, right? Free and easy. Why is it that people still struggle? Why is it that people still are obese? And that's a huge, problem in today's society. Why? Because of their mindset, first and foremost. It has nothing to do with what they're putting into their bodies, right, through their mouths. It has everything to do with what they're putting into their minds. And they have that victim mentality of, hey, I can do this all on my own. I don't need any help. And they're not open-minded. They're not receptive and willing to change and think differently. That's it. Like, literally thinking differently. Meaning, like, instead of you saying constantly, like, hey, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because I don't have time. I can't do this because I don't have money. Like, what if you thought differently? How can I do this? How can I have more time? How can I have more money? Like, it's just like when you literally start thinking differently, your brain is like a supercomputer, Whatever it is that you want to know, you can ask your mind. You can ask your brain. And eventually you're going to get that answer. You will. Ask it enough times and just, you will get what's called inspired action. You will just get these random occurrences that happen in your life where you're like, oh, what a coincidence. I mean, have you ever noticed that? You're thinking about somebody, you're on just the back of your mind, and all of a sudden, like, they text you out of the blue, or they call you, or you see a post from them on, like, social media. What are the odds of that, huh? So it's just like, learn how to think differently. And you will get that inspired action. You will get that thought that comes in. But the problem is that if you have a fixed mindset, you're going to let that thought come in and right out the other ear. You're not going to take action. Why? Because of that victim mentality. At the end of the day, it's just like, how do you change your life? Well, hey, it's very simple. Change your mindset. And how do we do that? Start taking responsibilities for our own actions. Start having a more of an open mindset rather than a fixed, closed mindset. And just like anything in life, it's probably going to be hard in the beginning, especially if you've been constantly making up excuses, constantly pointing the finger at, somebody or something as to why your life is the way that it is and why your body is the way that it is and why your career and finances are the way that it is. And if you've been constantly making up those excuses for years and years and years and years, yeah, it's not going to change instantly overnight. It's going to take some time. But at the end of the day, like, how bad do you actually want it? Most people are willing to give up what they actually want in life for what they want right now. And I see that all the time with weight loss and fat loss, where somebody instantly, does all this cardio, cuts out all their carbs, intermittent fasting, right? Like killing themselves in the gym, right? Like not eating anything, just completely malnourished, just to see the number on the scale go down. Only to what? Realize it's not sustainable and they go back to the old ways and regain all that weight right back. They give up, right, what they actually want for what they want right now. Because why? They don't understand patience. Instead of listening and just following through with some of the easy habits that we teach our members, walking more, plenty of sleep, drinking more water, hitting your protein goals, some resistance training, stress management, simple things like that. They're like, oh, no. I don't want to wait. I want those results right now. So I'm going to give up what I actually want in life just to make myself happy right now for a short period of time, just to see that number on the scale go down. But then how happy are you going to be, right, 2-3 weeks later when you regain all the weight right back because you fell off the wagon? It's just some food for thought. Thinking differently. Now, you could be listening to this and thinking to yourself, nah, you're wrong. It's not me, right? But once again, it's a fixed mindset. It's a victim mentality. Or you could be listening to this and says, you know what? This kid's got a point. This kid has got a point. Maybe I just need to start thinking differently. And maybe that's the secret to changing my outlook on life and changing the world that I actually live in, is by just changing my thoughts first and foremost. And who knows? Maybe you just need some people in your corner that helps you and supports you. That's why I'm a big advocate of like the community groups that we have at Heartletics, just because you're not doing this alone anymore. You know, somebody's literally taking all the guesswork off your plate. You don't have to struggle alone. You actually have people in your corner that want you to succeed. Once again, I need coaches in my corner. I need mentors. They're pushing me. They're holding me accountable. They're raising my standards. They're raising the bar, setting me to new levels, right? That's what life's all about. It's fun. When you learn how to just complete the level, go to the next one. Complete the level, go to the next one. Complete the level, go to the next one. But if all you have is these cheerleaders and yes men in your corner telling you what you want to hear, not what you actually need to hear, well, hey, how fun is constantly playing level 1, 2, and 3 over and over and over again? When you look at, online and you see all these people that have these amazing lives that you want and they're on level 100, I'm pretty sure they didn't get there because they just, made up excuses and cheated their way through the system. I'm pretty sure they got to that because they had people in their corner that actually believed in them, so much so that they started believing in themselves. They had people in their corner that gave them the right path and said, hey, you should do this, and led the way, instead of them trying to be their own body mechanics and figuring it out all by themselves. It only makes things a lot harder. Behind every successful person that you see, whether it's career, whether it's, financial independence, whether it's the body, there's a team of people behind them. That's it. It's just like, you watch some boxers, you watch some UFC fighters, right? They're in the cage, they're in the ring, they're fighting, right? And at the end of the day, like, you're probably thinking, like, man, this is the greatest person ever, right? Mike Tyson, greatest boxer ever. Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, right? Greatest boxer ever. Well, guess what? It wasn't all because of them. They had coaches, they had teammates, they had people that was there to, help them, support them, not just physically through training, but also mentally with the right mindset, to having that winner's mindset. Don't believe me? Go look at the greats. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time with basketball. He literally had so many different trainers always helping out with different aspects. How to dribble, how to shoot, strength conditioning, right? All these different things just to help push him. And maybe that's what you need. You need just a little push to get you over the edge. You need just a little push to help you get outside your comfort zone and support you on that. But remember, you can't get there with a victim mindset. You need to be open. You need to take responsibilities for your own actions. The minute you start doing that, I promise your life will change. Guys, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast. And as always, I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.